वाला शुरू करते हैं. Let's delete these two layers and create another thing like this. And let's create another one here. This. Now let's create a basic painting in between those two layers. This layer is going to be the child of this layer, and now if we do a simple animation on it, let's say कि रहने दो. Let's say कि at first we have to determine where the center is. Kichai. At first we have to make the centers of our different columns. So this one is gonna be here. Don't do that. After that, let's go to the rotate tool, and I'm using shortcuts for all the sub options of our edit tool. And so let's create this kind of simple animation. Here it will be like this, and by using the bone tool it's also very easy to do that. I have shown you earlier classes, huh? So this is basically a very basic painting animation, rigged animation. Now what we can do, now we are gonna see another thing, which is the sub X sheet option in our in OpenToons. Sub X sheet option is basically a compositing thing which we we can find in After Effects, which is called pre-comp. You can select few layers and pre-comp them to make a single layer, and you can add effects on those single layers and different kind of things. So let's say we have these two columns, and maybe we can have multiple columns, like 10 columns, whatever it is. But what we can do, we can collapse them in a single column. So there is some benefits of doing that. So one is, okay, select these two columns, and the actual option is in the X sheet menu. So this collapse and all these things we can also do it from here now in our new version. So if we do that, or we can, what you can do, we can just simply right click and okay, anyway, so just collapse it from here, and it is asking us to include the relevant peg bars or not. We don't have anything like that, so just hit apply. So what happened is, this both of the columns merged into one particular column, and we have our animation in it. So anytime we need to change the animation, we can just we can select the column, and we can select click on this icon, which is called open sub X sheet, and we can open, and we can do any kind of modifications in it, and then again go back to our main X sheet view. Okay, which it is a very powerful use of this kind of rigging thing. And now the benefit, you can say that if we need to move this thing, so now what we can do is we can go to the edit tool, and we can actually select this, make a different center point, and we can rotate this thing along with that center. So now we can animate it also, like here it's gonna be here, and it's gonna be here. So let's uncheck this camera box. So now if you see the animation, it's happening something like this. So maybe the center is, center is here, and here go to the rotate tool, and it's going to be like this. So okay, so you can say that why do we need to create a sub X sheet We could have also done that by parenting with another column, right? We can add that secondary animation on that parented column, but you know, that is you have to decide what you are gonna use, because when you use a SABX sheet you can add certain effects, any kind of effects in it. We are gonna go to the effect schematic later on, and that is in the compositing part of it. And we can add an effect, any kind of effect in it, let's say glow or any kind of thing, any kind of blending mode or any kind of thing in it, because it's a single column. Now we can use any kind of effect in it. But the minus point is, like, we cannot have all the columns together in our X sheet. To access those different columns that we have used in this sub X sheet, we have to open the sub X sheet and we have to modify them. Okay, so if we want to change any kind of thing, any kind of animation, or we want to, maybe let's say we want to add another column in it here. So we want to add another column. So to do that, and let's say we have done that, and let's go back here, and we also have that here. Okay. So this is another kind of parenting, which is called sub X sheet. Only time you are gonna use this sub X sheet is when you are gonna add some, you want to add some effect all over these columns, that kind of thing. And there is another type of thing that you can do with by using this sub X sheet. Let me show you that. And so to do that, you know, I am gonna do a very simple animation movement here. So it is like this here. So maybe what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna maybe change the center point here, and rotate it a little bit. So there is two animations in it. So okay, let's just make it simple. Let's delete the animation. So we have an animation in our sub X sheet, and now we want to add a deformer in it. So that's a very, I would say, advanced thing. So when you are creating a plastic tool, when you are creating a plastic mesh, one thing you have to remember, you have to select on the column, not on a particular cell. Now what happens if you select a particular cell and create mesh? So let's create mesh. Okay, so apply it. What is going to happen? It will create mesh for that particular that frame. Now in our earlier example we didn't have any problem with that, because the column we were working with, that was a static column, so there was no animation in it. Now what is going to happen is it's constantly moving. So even if we give it an exposure, we will see that it's not following that, because we have only one mesh here. So let's not do that. What we are gonna do, we are gonna select here in the column, and now we are gonna create mesh. And if we now apply it, then it will ask the delete the older one. Yes, we want to delete the older one. And what is going to happen is it will gonna create separate meshes for all the different drawings we have. Now I think I have changed the position of this thing. Go to the position. Maybe that's why it is happening. So what I'm going to do is, so what it did is it created a separate meshes for all the different poses we have in each and every frame. Okay, so now we want to add a deformer in it, okay, to give a different kind of look. So let's go to the plastic tool and go to the build skeleton mode. Okay, so in the build skeleton mode, as we know, we can create a simple bone system here. Maybe what you are gonna do is we're gonna add another two frames here, two joints here. Now the problem is, when you are going to go in this frame, actually what, then it's actually, let's change a little bit. So let's delete this thing. Huh? I'm not saving it actually. चलो save कर लेते हैं. No, no, you're right. You're right. चलो open it. Open it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make these shapes a little bit thicker. So we're gonna select the selection tool and we're gonna make these things thicker. That will do. Okay, so let's close it and create a mesh. Go to the plastic tool, apply it here. Okay, I've done the same mistake. So now if we go to the plastic tool, now we can create our basic skeleton. Now the problem is when we are gonna change it, maybe here we need a separate. Okay, another thing I forgot, we're gonna add two more joints here. So now here we need another bone joint, right? So what you can do, you can create on this plus icon on the skeleton menu, and that will create another set of skeleton for us. So let's create another set of skeleton, and maybe here, maybe yes, here we're gonna create another one. Maybe here. No, I'm just showing you the possibilities. Maybe you are not gonna face this kind of a scenario. You're gonna have another kind of thing. I mean, you can move this bone in the animate mode. Now the problem is, let me show you. I'll show you just a little bit, because bones are gonna be in that same position always. Listen, if you needed to do this kind of simple thing, that you don't even need to do this kind of rigging thing, right? You can just simply apply the bone tool and you can move that thing, right? I'm just showing you how you can use both the rigged animation, rigged parenting thing, and plastic tool on over that rigged animation, rigged columns. So now you see that our bone system always following the uh, changing shape of our animation. So now what is going to happen if we go to the animate mode? Chalo ki what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do something like this. Okay, and also maybe we're gonna paint rigid, paint rigid, bigger brush. I think it will change accordingly. Okay. Oh, unfortunately it's not. It will be affected for a particular mesh shape. So let's go to the animate mode. We don't need that. Let me show you. It will be affected on that particular shape only. That you can see that we have got each and every shape for each and every drawings. So let's do something like this. Maybe we could have created the joint here. Actually, this is not a practical example. You are not gonna have this kind of situation. You are not gonna use the plastic tool for this kind of situation. You can just create a simple plastic bone system in it, right? So I'm just showing the possibilities. What is going to happen is we are gonna automatically get this kind of tool. I mean, the reason why I'm showing it is actually in this kind of free software you don't get this kind of advanced options. Like, forget about Flash. This is amazing. We are So now what is happening is two kind of animation is actually happening there. I mean, it's a completely meshed up thing happening here. So okay, so we are adding a uh, plastic mesh over a rigged animation. So that is also possible by doing the Sabex sheet. So this is another use of Sabex sheet. Okay, in my advanced compositing tutorial there is a lot of use of this kind of thing where I have you can create a column with different drawings of a particular shape or any kind of thing like a fire and all this thing, and you can create a Sabex sheet, or maybe that's a single column which contains a lot of drawing, and or on over it you can you create this kind of plastic mesh, and you can uh, create this kind of bone system and animate it. Okay, so this is basically the plastic tool mm, with the Sabex sheet. So let's stop this video here.